Hi, this is Deborah Torres, author of Amish fiction. And here I stand across from the Hudson River, and you can see New York City right across from me. You can hear the buses, and if you could look around me, you would see a groundhog eating the grass very close to me, next to a sign that says, don't feed the wildlife. So we're not going to feed him, but he'll eat the grass. I wanted to let you know that I just finished the book, Love Still Stands by Irvin. And I just want to do a quick review since I've got it fresh in my mind, and just wanted to tell you a little bit about what I thought about it and whether or not I think you should read it. At the end of this video, you also learn a little bit more about my free cookbook of Amish and Mennonite recipes that you can sign up for and get it emailed straight to your inbox. It's a digital cookbook, some great recipes in there and authentic recipes that you could even start making today. So anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about Love Still Stands. I have my ebook Kindle version with me, but it can't be seen, the cover can't be seen very well in the sunshine. So I'll just have to kind of wing it and maybe put a picture at the beginning of this video for you to see of the cover. But this is an older book of Kelly's, and it's actually the first one that I've read. I reached out to Kelly, I think on Instagram, and I said, hey, I was at a library book sale, and it was like $2 a bag, and I cleared out their whole Amish fiction shelf that they had available, and I filled my whole bag of $2 with an incredible amount of Amish fiction books, and hers was one of them. And so I said, hey, I've got one of your books, and she said, well, that's one of his series, and you can get the other two on Kindle or on Amazon. So I got the first one, and I just finished it, and it was a sweet book, and I would highly recommend you read it if you like Amish fiction like I do. Let me just look at my notes here real quick. I just kind of jotted a little bit about it. It's about a group of Amish people who moved to a different location, which is interesting because I've never really read about anything like that, where they actually moved from a settlement to a different, in this case, they were making a whole new settlement for themselves. And but it was interesting because they weren't really welcome in that new area of town. The people were really didn't really like them, didn't really know what they were, had a lot of maybe bigotry towards them. When they arrived on the property that they bought, there's a lot of vandalism, just awful, just nothing you would want as a new hometown, especially if you're feeling homesick for your old hometown. So there's a lot of that going on, but anyway, so you'll need to read the book to learn a little bit more about it. But the protagonist is Bethel Graber, and she, interestingly enough, is a disabled person. She was went through an injury as she was a teacher in one of the Amish schools in their old district in Kansas, and she withstood there was some storm or something, and she was injured. So she's disabled in her legs and is learning how to walk again and learning how to be disabled and to deal with that as an Amish woman who has a lot of responsibilities. She's a single woman, but she lives with her sister and brother-in-law, and they have a lot of children. And so she's expected to help a lot in the house and is frustrated that she can't in some cases, or is limited in many cases. So it was just really interesting to get a look into a disability for an Amish person and what that might mean to their everyday life. So that was really interesting for me. There's a sub-story or a B-story about Bethel's sister-in-law Leah and her husband Luke. There's a sub-story with some marital issues, which again isn't something you always read about in some of the Amish fiction. Sometimes we kind of brush over some of that deep stuff that really happens in real life, and what happens when someone is dealing with marital issues, and also maybe some depression, and what happens when they might need to see a doctor, an English doctor for that. Does that take place? Can it take place? And what steps need to take place for it to happen and for there to be healing to happen as well. So anyway, just a really great story. Let me just see in my notes here. Also an interesting thing was with Bethel, our protagonist. She, because of her disability, she has to go through some physical therapy because she wants to get better to be able to help out with her sister and brother-in-law, her sister and brother-in-law's house and children. So in the process of physical therapy, she has to meet Englishers, and she has to learn from them, and she has to rely on them for some things. And so that's hard and good, because hard things are sometimes good. So anyway, we get a little insight on what physical therapy and exercise would be for a disabled Amish woman who doesn't want to be seen in a pair of sweatpants. So anyway, that's a really good part as well that I enjoyed. Mingling with the Englishers, making friends with the Englishers. This story is about sort of a tumultuous friendship between Bethel and Elijah, who is an Amish man who also, I believe Elijah also moved over with them to this new community of New Hope. So some things are going on there sometimes, and sometimes they're not. And there's also a friendship between Bethel and one of the disabled men in her physical therapy group. So that's going on too. So there's always wondering what's happening with Bethel and what she's going to be doing. The book, Love Still Stands by Kelly Irvin, is a book of choices, understanding, and patience. It really falls into my category of real and raw Amish fiction, which I tend to write on and I really like. My book, Forbidden Gift, is a story of real and raw Amish fiction. So I always get excited when I see another author who writes in the same style as I do in the Amish fiction subgenre. So kudos to Kelly Irvin for that. And I know she's got a ton of other books out. This was just my first introduction to her. I think this is one of her earlier books, maybe her 4th or 5th book. And I know she's got a ton more to go. So looking forward to reading more of Kelly. I do like to tell in my reviews just a little bit of something maybe I didn't like about the book, just so that you all know. So I didn't like that Bethel and Elijah had so many ups and downs with their relationship. I wanted them to quickly bond and become what I wanted them to be. But that happens a lot in true life, I guess, too. When there's a lot of questions, and especially in Bethel's case, a lot of questions about whether she would make a good wife or fra to an Amish man. So there was a lot of insecurity there in Bethel. So that was probably part of it too, is why the relationship took so long to get where I wanted it to go. It was because Bethel needed that time to mend and heal and to develop trust that someone could love her even though she wasn't able to walk well. So anyway, I thought the book was exciting. There were some intense scenes, which I really like. It was interesting. Kelly knows her stuff with Amish fiction, so I was always learning and taking notes as an author of Amish fiction myself. And it had a sweet, sweet ending, which I always love, and I think some of you do too. So that was special to me as well. I do recommend this book, and I look forward to reading the next one in the series, The New Hope Amish by Kelly Irvin. Thank you. And one more thing just about my cookbook. If you'd like to sign up, just sign up in the link below. You can subscribe there. And also you can sign up and you subscribe to my YouTube channel as well to get more reviews on Amish fiction. And in my cookbook, that when you subscribe, like I said, you can get it emailed straight to your inbox. As soon as you open it, you can see a beautiful full-colored PDF of the Amish pictures and authentic Amish and Mennonite recipes straight in your inbox. And then you'll be subscribed to my author newsletter. She'll get information about me and my books, like The Forbidden Gift, which came out recently last spring. Okay, so I will subscribe below, and I will see you on the next Amish book review.